All right, all right. And so I know that you all have heard these stories. Of course, this one just reported, I believe, earlier this morning. A federal jury awarded $333,000 to a Chicago family in Chicago, as a matter of fact, after Chicago police officers raided its South Side home with guns drawn and shot the family dog in search of criminal activity, I guess, is what they were looking for. Well, this dates back to February of 2009. They say that officers knocked on the doors of the home of teenage brothers Thomas and Darren Russell, and said that they had warrants to search the units within the apartment building. Then 18-year-old Thomas Russell opened the door and found officers, of course, with their guns drawn. He said that he asked for permission to put the family's 9-year-old black Labrador lady away before they entered, but they refused the request and entered the home. And of course, the black Labrador came loping around the corner of the apartment with its tail wagging, and police officers shot the dog dead. And so family sued for that, among other things, and the jury awarded them with a settlement in that shooting. All right. And you could just see, for those who may have caught that news story, I think last night and early this morning, you could just, even just talking about it, you could see the pain in the young man's face. And then, of course, we heard about this story about a woman who was accused of stealing an autistic boy's therapy dog from the child's Round Lake Beach home. Huh. And of course, this sent the family reeling because, you know, the dog apparently really helped their autistic son. And so, yeah, they're saying that the woman accused was offering, actually, the police was offering $1,000 reward for the dog's safe return home. And then, of course, they discovered that this woman had attempted to steal it and attempted to return the 3-year-old dog to the family. Well, anyway, again, a case where you could see the tremendous concern in the family's face as they talked about this. And then even locally here, I think a few weeks ago, there was a case of a tragic accident with a family pet, a dog, that was out playing in the backyard with its owners, and somehow the dog, they don't know how it got on the neighbor's side of the fence, but somehow ended up on the neighbor's side of the fence where their much larger dog attacked the dog and killed it. So again, devastating to the family. So I did a little digging here to kind of, you know, research and talk a little bit more about that human animal bond. And, you know, I discovered that humans and animals have interacted together going back thousands and thousands and thousands of years, right? But of course, in a lot of cases, you know, if we go back way back when, most of the animals were not domesticated pets. And as society became more civilized and civilization, you know, became more modernized, the human pet bond concept began to emerge. And then there was this whole practice of veterinarian medicine and so forth. And then lo and behold, there we are with a new type of area of medicine, because humans became very concerned about their pets, and pets began to move into the home with their owners, as opposed to being, you know, kept outside in the yard in their own, in the case of a dog, in their own dog house, in the case of other types of pets in their own area out in the yard. Well, some of these pets began to enter the home because, population grew, home, people started building closer to each other, and there, in some cases, wasn't a lot of room for pets to run around. And so they brought them in their homes. All right. So, of course, pet owners began to include their animals into all of their day-to-day activities, taking them places with them, actually showing up in family photos and all of that. And they really became a part of the family for many, many people. So they're, saying that not only was it dogs, but chickens and snakes in some cases, obviously cats. And for those who live out in more rural areas, you may find them with horses and things of that nature. They really become attached to them, and they want to. They especially if they get them from when they're babies, or puppies or whatever. It's like a family member to them. So no wonder there's so much anxiety and hurt as a result of them losing their pet or something happening to their pet. And so, yeah, that's sort of how, this bond between animals and humans got stronger and stronger. They once you started domesticating them and moving them into the household with the human being, obviously anybody that you live in the house with over a period of time, particularly if it's from, youth through adulthood, there's going to be a strong connection there. And so that's what that is all about, because I think I used to be one of those people too, when you hear somebody say their pet died or whatever, and they're really hurt and broke up about it, and you go like, really? But obviously, for those who can't tell, I'm not a big pet person, but I get it, and so that's why people are so upset when something happens to their pet. All right. Well, this is certainly a pet that I don't know anybody who would want, or animal, I should say, that I don't know anyone who would want as a pet. Did you hear about this story about the skunks? Okay. This is new news to some people, but for people who are close to me, you've heard my cry for help about 2-3 years ago when I started seeing them out in the community that I live in. Of course, I'm talking about these skunks that have been causing a stink in the Joliet area. So they're saying that they've sort of taken over some Joliet neighborhoods, and so much so, check this out, that they really don't even run from humans. You know how squirrels are still kind of running when they see a human being coming or even a car pull up or something. But, case in point, I was with my sister 2 nights ago, and we were going to a friend's apartment, and we pulled up into the driveway area to park, and there was a skunk in the middle of the lawn around a tree nibbling on something. So, of course, we flashed the lights thinking that would run the skunk off. The skunk did not budge. In fact, it only looked up. It looked up long enough to give us one of those "what's up" nods. You know what I mean? When you see somebody and you don't wave your hand or anything, you just lift your head up a little bit and say, "What's up?" Well, that's what the skunk did with us. Didn't run, didn't try to hide or anything. So we blew the horn, and then it kind of scurried off into a bush a little bit, but it only stayed there for less than 30 seconds, and it came back out. And we started making all this noise, slamming the car door, talking loud, trying to run the skunk away, and it would not run away. So what is that? That bothers me. Well, anyway, the report says that the Illinois skunk population has increased 8 of the last 10 years based on roadkill data, and this is coming from a wildlife biologist from the Illinois Department of Natural Resources. They're saying from 2008 to 2009, the population of skunks jumped 46%, reaching the highest level since 1982. Now they're saying that milder winters and the decline in rabies can explain the population growth. Many residents say that development has cleared wooded areas and pushed skunks out of their, natural habitats into the habitats of humans, and so they've learned, over a period of time to sort of become acclimated or adapt to having humans around, and so I don't know. I guess this was a matter of somewhat of a matter during the last city council meeting, because they were saying that many of the city council members had talked about this issue and how their dogs were being sprayed by these skunks. Anyway, the Joliet Township's Animal Control Center usually rents about 200 traps, which are also used to catch raccoons and other nuisances and wildlife, and it hasn't seen an increase in rentals. Well, people don't have the money for those rentals, and I don't understand why we have to pay for those rentals when our tax dollars are going there. But anyway, they're saying that these traps are offered 5 days for $50, and then you can bait the traps, and once the animal is caught, you call them, and then they come on out to pick them up. So, I don't know. There is a private licensed skunk trapper who does this. It's called Ace in the Hole Wild Animal Control in the Joliet community, who says he's expects to see at least double the skunk trappings from last year. So if you want to get a hold of him, I guess you can look for Ace in the Hole Wildlife Animal Control. But I caution, he charges too. $100 per skunk. All right. Well, anyway, there you go, ladies and gentlemen, for those who are now being bothered with those. I don't know what's worse, a rat or a skunk. Ew. Stay where you are. We'll be back with more of Marilyn's Cafe Society right here at 1340 WJOL, WJOL.com, and Maryland'sCafeSociety.com.